Hi guys! So before we start today's review, a big shout out to Bridgestone for sponsoring today's video. If you are looking to change your tyres, Bridgestone tyres are an excellent choice. They are, after all, the world's largest tyre manufacturer. What we have here today is the brand new BMW M3, and specifically we have the M3 Competition. So in BMW M's typical lineup, you have your standard M car, you have your Competition, which is one step up, and then you have your CS, which is another step up. But in Singapore, we get this Competition as standard. There's a fairly simple reason for it, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So what do you get then? Well, you get a giant kidney grille, obviously. Lots of people hate this. Having spent a couple of months looking at these cars, I personally don't think it's that bad. Yes, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I really think it will grow on you a little bit, right? Especially if you get the car in a slightly more muted color like white or black, I think it blends away quite nicely. But beyond that, I think the rest of the car has actually grown and become a lot sharper, a lot more athletic, and I think a lot nicer to look at. In this Competition version, we get some additional carbon fiber bits. We have a carbon fiber front end take, you have carbon fiber mirrors, we have carbon fiber roof, and more carbon fiber bits around the car. And that really adds to the car's athletic demeanor.
Oh wait, one more thing to add. So this car is actually the launch edition model. So all these carbon bits that you see as part of the M Carbon exterior package, that's an option on the standard car, but it comes standard on this one.
So let's go check out the rear of the M3.
The BMW M Series M3 sedan is priced at $473,888. The 3-litre engine produces 503 brake horsepower and 650 Nm of torque. The 8-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km/h in 3.9 seconds. For more details on the BMW M Series M3 sedan or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make a smart choice on your next car.
As with any good performance car, the M3 comes with these bulbous rear arches. Fantastic. Now, if you check out the rest of the rear of the car, it's unmistakably an M car, right? You've got your quad tailpipe set within this carbon rear diffuser, you've got this carbon spoiler here, and you know, the car looks very distinctive and very sort of go faster. One thing I'm not super keen on, these taillights, I think compared to the rest of the car's aggressive looks, they look a little bit soft. As far as boot space is concerned, we've got a 480-litre boot, so this is identical to a standard 3 Series, and you can easily fit your big luggage, and it can actually barely pass the anti-trolley length test, so this car will definitely see to all your day-to-day needs. Now, let's go to the rear of the cabin. Now we're inside the M3, and first things first, it's so orange! Please, if you're buying M3, don't buy it with an orange interior. My eyes can barely take it. But imagine this was an orange. The rear is actually really comfortable. You have plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom, and you know, it's your standard sort of size of a compact sedan, right? Just like a 3 Series. As far as amenities are concerned, we don't get a ton. I mean, we get sport seats in this car, so you don't have any seat pockets. We have rear aircon, we have temperature control, we have directional control, but no fan control. And we also have 2 USB-C ports. Beyond that, we have ISOFIX points, and yeah, that's about it. If we slide onto the middle of the cabin, actually the middle seat is really comfortable. You know, you don't have this like weird hump and it's fairly wide. Yeah, the high transmission tunnel means that you do have to put your legs at the side, but I think there's actually plenty of space. So yeah, solid car all around. Now let's go check out the front. Here in the front seat of the M3, I think the first thing that you notice is the fact that this is very similar to your standard modern BMW, right? So you have your Live Cockpit Professional, you have your operating system 7.0, and this new sort of center console setup that is generally very intuitive and quite easy to use. So infotainment system is solid. You know, you have a whole bunch of functionality like your wireless Apple CarPlay, you have maps, etc. With this particular car, obviously it's an M car, so you have a specific M menu where here you get some additional controls. You can configure M1, M2. These are actually these 2 additional buttons on the steering wheel that allow you to very quickly customize your drive settings. You have a M drift analyzer because, you know, drifting, M cars, yes. What else? Obviously with an M car, you get a whole bunch of additional touches like carbon fiber everywhere. We have this red, blue, and another blue stitching on the steering wheel, on the seat belts, and here on the gear lever. You have these pedal shifters with carbon fiber trimming on it, and a whole bunch of extra controls here as well. You have one for your exhaust, so you can go for quiet mode. Not very quiet, but a little bit quieter. there's a specific M mode button. So what this actually does is it actually deactivates a whole bunch of the safety systems and changes the cluster design to give you a more focus. I mean, this is essentially, think of it as track mode, right? You also have these buttons here. So this actually toggles the aggressiveness or the quickness of the gear shifts of this new, it's actually a new 8-speed automatic gearbox. As far as materials go, you get very comfortable, relatively plush leather all around, and I must say these sport seats, I mean, yes, they are firm and they do a very good job of gripping you if you're going sort of sideways or going very quickly, but they're not uncomfortable in any way. I think they're, all in all, this is a very, very nice place to sit in. Yes, so with the M3, obviously, it's not really about whether it's nice to sit in, right? It's about how it feels when you're out on the road. So let's go take this for a spin. So we're out now driving the M3, and the first thing I want to talk about, strangely enough, is comfort. Yes, I know you might be thinking, who cares about comfort in a sports car? But personally, I do, and I think it's an important thing to note because the M3 that came before this, that car was really rather uncomfortable for day-to-day driving. Yes, it was a great sports car, you know, when you're driving hard, but when you're just driving normally, going to work, going to the office, going to the shops, that one was a little bit of a pain in the ass. This one isn't. This one is really quite nice and comfortable. The suspension is firm but not harsh. The steering is quite heavy but still reasonably easy to use. And all in all, I think BMW has done a very good job of improving the refinement levels of the M3 to a point where, hey, you could live with this car every day. However, that's not to say that this car isn't fast. This car is ballistically fast. So with this competition variant, we have a 3-litre inline-six engine under the bonnet with 503 brake horsepower and 650 Newton meters of torque. 500 horsepower. No one needs 500 horsepower. 500 horsepower is too much. But we have 500 horsepower, so be it. Because of that, we can do this. This car is insanely fast. Which is no surprise because every M car is insanely fast. Every performance car these days is insanely fast. You can get these kind of acceleration in a big SUV. So yes, going fast, no big deal, honestly, because everyone can go fast. Where this M3 is really impressive is actually in the way it goes fast, but not in a straight line. So I'm just going to go through a corner now, and there is no sense of fear at all when you're trying to drive fast around bendy roads, and I think that's a big improvement from the previous car. The previous car, let's put it this way, if you didn't know what you were doing, it would try to kill you because it was a little bit tail happy, and the engine, it was kind of an engine that wants to be rung very hard to get power out of. This one, you have a much broader torque band, so that helps because you don't have to push the engine so hard. But more importantly, the chassis in this one is so much more settled, so much tighter, and so much more balanced that you don't feel that kind of rear end looseness that you used to find in the old car, and I think that's a big improvement. With this car, the front end is really so sharp and responsive, so just a little bit of steering and we're away. And there's that sense of agility that really defies the fact that this car is like 1.7 tons, so that's a heavy car, but honestly it never feels that way. And I think more importantly, it feels so stable now. With the old car, that one was honestly quite tail happy, and if we're being honest, if you drove it like a madman, it would probably kill you. With this one, I think that margin of error is so much more now. We've got so much grip from the tires, the chassis is great and balanced and responsive, and it's very easy to drive this car fast now, which is something that I think it's a marked improvement from where the car used to be. And of course, now with these two M buttons, you can very quickly access your favorite driving setup. So you could have M1 to be a much sportier drive, and you could have M2. You could have M2 to have, you know, all your aids off, and because this is rear-wheel drive, you could really burn through the tires if you wanted to.
if you are burning through your tyres and you do need to replace your tyres on your performance car like perhaps this M3, then you might want to consider Bridgestone's new Potenza Sport tyres. Developed in Europe, they're designed for ultra-high performance driving, and all that R&D invested into them mean that they offer exceptional cornering grip, stability and braking in both wet and dry conditions without sacrificing comfort. So, the new BMW M3, will buy, won't buy or go try. To me, this is quite an easy will buy. Doesn't mean I can afford it. I mean, this car is ridiculously expensive. $470,000 is a ton of money. So why do I say this is a will buy? Well, for two reasons. One, this is a better performance car than before. It's much more powerful, obviously, but at the same time, it handles better. It handles in a more forgiving manner. It's a lot more balanced than it used to be. There's so much traction, it's ridiculous. So yes, as far as being a sports car, being a performance car that you can take to the track, this car is fantastic. It's a real beast in that sense. At the same time, it's also a better everyday car. You know, it's more comfortable, it's more refined, it's more usable, it's more high-tech, there's more safety systems. So from a day-to-day perspective, it's an easier car to live with. So you put those two things together and what you get is just a much better car. Do you like how it looks? Yeah, maybe not the most pretty looking car in the world, but I think it looks very distinctive, very aggressive, and the looks are kind of growing on me. And sitting here, you can't see the grille, so that helps, right? So where does the M3 then rank in its segment? Honestly, right now, I do think this might be the best in class. So that's our review of the new BMW M3. Thanks for watching this video, and also thank you to Bridgestone for sponsoring this video. If you want to find out more about Bridgestone's new Potenza Sport Ultra High Performance tyre, do click the link in the description below. Till the next video, bye!